Hey guys, it's RichboyJhae here back again with another video, and this is going to be episode 7 of the Your Questions Answered series. Your Questions Answered is basically a Q&A series that I do weekly here on this channel, so if you'd like for your question to be answered in one of these videos, go ahead, go down to the comment section and drop a Lego, Star Wars, or Lego Star Wars related question, and maybe you'll show up in the video. So let's jump right into it, guys. The first question comes from one of my moderators from the live chat, Stony Bricks, and he says, what is a TLJ set that we need, like, really badly, excluding the throne room scene? I personally want a Libertine. So the throne room scene is actually a set that's been heavily rumored to be released later this year, so hopefully that it does actually come out, and I'm really hoping that it comes with at least one of each of the Praetorian guards. I think there's like 3 unique ones, so if it can give us 3 Praetorian guards, all unique ones, I'd be really happy with that. It'd be really annoying for them to only give us like 2 of them, and then we have to wait a while to get the 3rd one. So hopefully it works out that way. We'll see how that goes though. But insofar as what sets do I think still need to come out, I think the most obvious one is probably like a UCS Dreadnought or Snoke Supremacy. Like those seem to be like the 2 big obvious ships that were really prominent in the movie but haven't been released. I also would really like one of those Resistance transports that they take from Dakar onto the Radis and then from the Radis onto Crate. That would give us a really good opportunity to get some of those Resistance officers and minifigures that we don't already have, so that would be really cool. I think I would also like some sort of Canto Bite based set. It can maybe come with a Fathier, as well as part of the casino that can get destroyed, and even some minifigures from that. I think a really obvious choice for a set also is, if they didn't want to do the casino part of Canto Bite, they could just do like a Fathier with one of those Canto Bite police speeders chasing it, so that would give you a way to have like a chase battle scene of the movie replicated in a set. I think that would really work. So those are just a few of my ideas. Personally, the one that I really do want the most is probably the Resistance transport, just because since I'm working on this crate mock, getting some of those Resistance figures would be really nice, especially in a somewhat cheap way. What I would actually really like more than anything right now is some sort of like Resistance battle pack that is based in crate, so they can give us more of those green helmeted, like poncho wearing peeps. The problem is that it's kind of hard to get those figures in bulk because I think one comes in that heavy assault Scout Walker, one comes in the ATM6 set, and then one comes in the Defense on Crate set. So those are all not super cheap sets, and only one comes in each of them. So they're hard to get in bulk quantities, and we obviously need a lot for them for the crate mock. So I think ideally that would be the best possible scenario for me. Just anything that can get me some of those Resistance minifigures that we don't have already. So appreciate that, Stormy. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is by Elite Assassin CT7567. He says, do the legs on the ATM6 move at all? This is the question that I've been getting, probably more than anything in regards to the crate mock, and the simple answer to this is no, and there's a reason. So a lot of people will be like, you should have the legs positioned in a walking motion, which I totally agree with. The AT-AT is like that, and it'd be nice for the ATM6 to be like that as well. But here's the problem. The ATM6 is considerably more heavy than the AT-AT. I believe the ATM6, just from holding it and moving it around, it can't be any less than like 35 or 40 pounds. It's a almost 16,000 piece build, guys. So it's very heavy, and it's also very top heavy specifically because the body holds the bulk of the weight. What that means is that if you want to basically have it stable, you want to maximize the amount of attachment points that you can have from the legs onto the body. And the way you can do that is by not having the legs angled. If you think about it, if the legs are just, straight up and down, you can basically just like have, bricks stacked on top of each other, and then just have the holes kind of line up perfectly in a straight line and just be able to attach the leg to it. So I can have, many attachment points, many like rods that connect the leg to the body. If the legs are angled, then it minimizes it, unless I use some like crazy math, which still in itself, because of the way Lego works out, isn't going to allow for a lot of like attachment points. Like the easiest way to do that would just be one attachment point, one pin, and then the leg could kind of swing around on it. So what that all means is that in order to make it more stable, in order to not be in constant fear of knocking that thing over, because it would be the worst thing ever for me to knock that thing over, I have it basically with the legs standing straight up, and it's so stable, guys. I can't even, like, I think if you were able to like experience it in person and just push it around and move it around, you would see just how stable that build is, which is absolutely amazing for something that is so big. So that's really why I opted to have the legs up, straight up and down. I know it's maybe not the most attractive thing, but I feel like because the walkers in the movie end up ultimately just kind of sitting there, it's not the worst thing in the world. And also they it's just worth it for the stability. I don't want to have to be in fear of that thing falling over all the time. So that's why the ATM6 legs do not move. So hopefully that answers your question. This next question is by Forever Lego Studios, and he says, what is your favorite Lego Star Wars MOC other than the indoor MOC? So if you guys don't know what he's talking about, I've made it very known that my favorite Star Wars MOC is by Brick Plumber, and it's this indoor. It's a beautiful MOC. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But insofar as these other MOCs, I actually really like Brick Plumber's other two builds. Like, his Hoth was probably the first big Star Wars MOC I ever saw. I remember seeing it in the Lego Star Wars Visual Dictionary book, and I was just blown away that someone could build something like that. And then I found a video of it on YouTube, and that's actually how I found out about his YouTube and was able to follow him into his indoor MOC. So all of Brick Plumber's builds just blow me away. I always love what he does. He's one of my favorite builders. I think he's probably my favorite builder. So I pretty much love all of his work. But outside of Brick Plumber, I do like a guy's his name is DMAC Lego. He made an indoor MOC as well. It has his AT-AT walker in it, as well as the landing platform, and it just looks beautiful in terms of the detail that he put into literally every single part of the MOC. It's one of the most beautiful MOCs that I've ever seen. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out as well. Also, there's a Taco Donna MOC that I think their names are Austin and Pamela Henry Biscup. They made it. It's on Beyond the Brick. You guys have probably seen it before. Just so much detail went into the like castle of Maz and every part of the MOC. I think he has an awesome Falcon MOC as well, so I'm a big fan of that one as well. There's a Resistance base MOC that I really like. I'm not sure who the creator is, but the MOC is actually on a YouTube page called Schmidt Project, so this thing was just awesome. I actually had considered doing a Dakar MOC for a little bit of time, and then once I saw this, I was like, I don't think I can top this. Like, he literally, or whoever the group did it, they did like every single part of Dakar that I would want to do. So I was just blown away by that. There's great detail in that one as well. And then finally, Marshall Banana's Sandcrawler. I'm a pretty big fan of the Sandcrawler vehicle in Star Wars, and Marshall Banana made a minifigure scale version that is just absolutely massive. So I can't say enough good things about it. I definitely want to build one for myself one day. I'm just going to have to find the time and money to set aside a bunch of brown parts in order to get that build done. Honestly, don't even know where I'd put it because it's such a big brown box. So that's actually a good question for the comment section. Guys, let me know, what are some of your favorite MOCs outside of mine, of course. Put them in the comment section, link me to them. I'd love to see some of the great things that you guys have found on the internet. Maybe I'll even see something new. So what are your favorite Star Wars MOCs that you guys have seen? Go ahead and let me know. Next question is by Sergeant Zaff03. He says, have you ever considered making a minifigure scale clone turbo tank MOC? Yes, I have. So at one point, Garrett and I were talking, and he kind of tossed the idea at me, and I was like, you know, that would actually be pretty cool. And I started kind of looking into it. I didn't actually get anything built, but I was just thinking, you know, the clone turbo tank was one of the first Lego sets that I got that I really enjoyed, especially like around the episode 3 period. I hadn't even seen the movie yet, but I thought the vehicle was so awesome that I was just like, there's nothing cooler than this. So I would love to do a minifigure scale version with a really detailed interior, because it's a really big vehicle. Like, if you ever played Battlefront, you can see just like how it scales to your character in the game. It's absolutely massive. So I would love to replicate that in Lego and even have some of the rooms and stuff going on the inside. So that may be something that I do down the line. If I ever do a Kashyyyk MOC, I guess I would kind of be forced into doing a minifigure scale version of it. So that's definitely something that could be in the plans. If I did do a MOC for the clone turbo tank, I would want to make it minifigure scale. I'd want to have the rooms in it. I also want to see if I can make it remote controlled, because it's like the one Star Wars vehicle with wheels, so why not have it be remote controlled? But those are some plans for a later day, but definitely could happen at some point. Next question is by Jamin Grove. He says, would you consider putting non-Star Wars alien head molds in a Star Wars display? Why? So first things first, I am very privy to putting Easter eggs of all kinds in Lego Star Wars MOCs. So there's definitely no like prohibition other than the old yellow minifigure heads that I have to put in certain minifigures and characters into a Star Wars MOC. I obviously don't think that's the point of your question. Your question is just like, would you integrate other aliens into a MOC where they don't really exist in the Star Wars universe? And I say absolutely. I mean, there's only so many alien molds that Lego has made, and you can make your Star Wars MOC look so much more diverse by putting in aliens from other like Lego themes or Lego licenses into your MOC, so long as they look Star Warsy enough. I wouldn't put something that would, you know, like the Lego CMF alien figure. I wouldn't put something like that in the MOC because it doesn't look like it belongs in the Star Wars universe. But so long as it looks like it belongs in the universe, I am more than happy with putting that into a Star Wars MOC. Anything that can make your MOC look more diverse and like a lived-in universe, as people like to say about Star Wars, I think is only a benefit to your MOC. So definitely would do that. I actually have done it before. Whenever I make those pod racers, obviously most of the characters from the pod racers don't exist in Lego form, so I did have to get a bit creative in finding Lego alien head molds and then even brick building some of them to be able to put them into those MOCs. So great question, Jamin. Next question is by BBBricks649. He says, hey Jay, what's your favorite Lego Clone Wars set or minifig? Thanks. First, none of the minifigs. Not a fan of the Clone Wars minifigs at all. I've talked about them so much. Those bug eyes and creepy smiles, not a fan of them. I can't give you an answer for the minifigs. I think they're all awful. But insofar as the Lego sets, I can absolutely do that. I want to assume by Clone Wars you mean that it's coming from the Clone Wars TV show and not like the Clone Wars era of Star Wars. So, for example, the most recent Republic fighter tank would not count into this category. But just looking at the Clone Wars TV series, I think the easy choice for me is a Clone Turbo tank they released. I think that Clone Turbo tank is the best one. It is the most aesthetically close to what the Clone Turbo tank should look like in regards to like the other two that have been released. But then also, I think that it has the best size out of all of them. So all around, I think that's probably the best turbo tank. The turbo tank is one of my favorite vehicles in Star Wars, and I think they did a bang-up job with that set. So gotta go with that one. I honestly thought and considered the Republic gunship, but I feel like the other two Republic gunships are a lot better. I'm not a big fan of the gunships with the doors on the sides as opposed to the bubble turret. So easy choice for me is definitely the Clone Turbo tank. And finally, Michael Irwin says, if you could only build MOCs from one era or trilogy, which would it be and why? Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, Michael. This was a fascinating question to me. That's kind of why I saved it for last. But this is something to really think about. Like, if I only had to make MOCs from one era or trilogy, like what, and for the rest of my life, like which one would I choose? I feel like the choice that leaves you open to the most amount of things would be the Clone Wars, because we see so many different locations and battles during that. So that was the one that popped into my head. But then it's just like, you know, I want to recreate things from the original trilogy, the golden age of Star Wars, with all the awesome, memorable things we see in that. But then if you pick like the sequel trilogy, movies for that are still currently being made, so you'd be able to build who knows what down the line. So there's obviously many appealing things from all of them, but I guess if I had to boil it down and only pick one, I'm probably going to go with the Clone Wars. And the thing that kind of led me to this decision, or not necessarily the Clone Wars, but just the prequel era, because I want to episode 1 through episode 3, which includes the Clone Wars, because that opens up a lot of opportunities. And I realized that the thing that kind of led me to this decision was I started thinking about, like, what are some MOCs that I've really wanted to do? Whenever I first started out building, I had my, like, MOC schedule totally planned. And I've obviously derailed from this, but I remember first I was going to do the pod race. Second, I wanted to do a Mustafar MOC, and then third, I wanted to do a big Geonosis MOC. Not too sure about the Mustafar MOC at this point. It seems like it would be a little bit limited, but I could probably still do a few things with it. The Geonosis MOC is something that I absolutely want to do. That's like, I think, my end-all be-all MOC. Whenever I do that, it'll be the biggest and best MOC I've ever done. But then obviously the pod race is still near and dear to my heart. So those two things kind of led me to believe, you know, maybe I would want to do the prequel era, because whenever I first got in, the thing that really motivated me to build was to do those 3 MOCs. And that's going to finish up the video this week, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Of course, if you want to see your questions answered in these videos, leave a comment in the comment section. Have it be Lego, Star Wars, or Lego Star Wars related. And who knows, maybe it'll show up in the video next week. Before I head out, I do just want to plug Solo Friday once more, you guys. We're closely approaching to it. It's going to be tomorrow. If you aren't familiar with it, if you've been living under a rock, Solo Friday is tomorrow, April 13th, where the Lego Star Wars Han Solo story sets are going to be coming out. So we're going to be building them here live on this channel pretty much all throughout the day. We're going to start around 1 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to continue until we're done. We may even get into some crate builds. Who knows? It's going to be a great time. We're going to be chilling with the Brick Wiz as well as John Cena from our live stream moderators. So it's going to be a great time for all you guys. If you're planning on buying the sets, make sure you come on, get in the live chat with us. We can discuss Star Wars, the Han Solo movie, make some predictions, give our thoughts on the sets, all that good stuff. It's going to be a great event for all of us. So make sure you guys are tuning in for it. So that's going to finish up the video this week, guys. If you like what we do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon with some more great content. Thanks for watching, guys.